This week in National News, we'll start out in the NFL with a surprise team at the top of the NFL standings. And that surprise team is the Arizona Cardinals. This week, the Cardinals beat the Dallas Cowboys by a score of 28-17. The Cardinals are led by former Steeler offensive coordinator Bruce Arians. Next, we'll go to Adrian Peterson, who is back in the headlines this week. The Minnesota Vikings running back is in the headlines this week because he's talking about reaching a plea deal in his child abuse case in Texas. If an agreement was reached, a question soon comes up after if Peterson would be allowed to rejoin the Vikings. But the NFL has shown no one to take Peterson off the exempt list. But Peterson's ruling has come in, and he has reached a plea agreement in which he will serve no jail time and have to serve 80 days in 80 hours of community service. Now we'll go from the gridiron to the hardwood, where there's two common things to start the NBA season. The first of those themes is injuries, in which we'll start off with LA Lakers rookie Julius Randle, who'd fractured his tibia in his first NBA game and will miss the rest of the season. Next, we'll go to OKC, where the Thunder lost their second biggest star, point guard Russell Westbrook, for at least 4 weeks to a broken bone in his hand. And the last big injury comes from the Windy City, where Derrick Rose missed a couple games because he sprained both his ankles. The second thing that's happened in the NBA so far is players getting paid. Players who have got paid include Charlotte Hornets guard Kemba Walker, Utah guard Alex Burke, Cleveland forward Anderson Varejao, and Golden State guard Klay Thompson. The Chicago Cubs have ended their search to find their next manager because they have hired ex-Tampa Bay Rays manager Joe Maddon to the same position. Maddon had 754 wins in 9 seasons as the skipper of the Rays and led the team to 4 trips to the playoffs. Maddon's deal was for 5 years and it's worth $25 million. This week has been a great week in Pittsburgh sports with lots of wins, but there's always has to be one team that blows the shot for all the teams getting a win. So it's time to send it over to Tyler Jetski to see which team blew it.
Yeah, Kyle, it was another great week for the Pittsburgh sports. It was another record-setting day for Ben Roethlisberger as the Steelers pounced on the hated Baltimore Ravens on Sunday night. Roethlisberger became the first quarterback in the history of the NFL to throw 6 touchdowns in back-to-back games as he led the Steelers to a 43-23 victory. Big Ben completed 68% of his passes for 340 yards. Antonio Brown also continued his record-setting season as well with 11 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. Brown has now caught at least 5 passes in 25 straight games and also set the NFL record with 11 straight games of at least 80 yards receiving. Rookie Martavis Bryant caught 2 touchdown passes along with Le'Veon Bell, Marcus Wheaton, and Matt Spaeth. With the offense shining, the defense really stole the show this week. Led by ancient James Harrison, Brett Kiesel, and Troy Polamalu, the Steelers' defense sacked Joe Flacco 4 times and forced 2 turnovers. With the win, the Steelers are now 6-3 and in second place of the AFC North. Their next game is in the Meadowlands against the New York Jets. The Pittsburgh Penguins finished their latest homestand with a 4-game winning streak as they prepare for 5 straight road games against the Minnesota Wild, Winnipeg Jets, Buffalo Sabres, New York Rangers, and Toronto Maple Leafs. Over this winning streak, the Pens have outscored their opponents 19-3, which includes shutouts in 3 of those 4 games. Center Sidney Crosby was named the second star of October, where he put up 18 points in 10 games. The Penguins are currently atop of their division and second in the Eastern Conference, 2 points behind the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Penguins will be without one of their budding stars for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Defenseman Oli Mata will undergo surgery this week to remove a tumor in his thyroid. Mata has played in every game of the season so far, putting up 6 points, which is 1 behind Chris Letang for the team lead for defensemen. Robert Portuzzo is expected to take the place of Mata for the next few weeks while he recovers. Kyle, Mata's been a pretty key figure on the blue line this season, and hopefully he'll be back soon.
The women's basketball team is trying to build off 3 straight successful seasons, which have all ended in the first round of the NAIA tournament. So as their season begins, they have 2 goals in mind: to get back to nationals and to win a game there. So we'll inbound the pass to Josh Krupp to see if the women could start off their season right.
Thanks, Kyle. After finishing last season with a 29-5 regular season record, a KIAC Conference Tournament title, and a bid to the NAIA Division II National Tournament, the Point Park women's basketball team was back in action on Friday for their home opener against West Virginia Tech. The Golden Bears were taken down by the Pioneers by a final score of 87-82, but it did not come easy for Point Park. Point Park had a 26-11 lead near the midpoint of the first half, and it looked like they were well on their way to an easy victory over West Virginia Tech. The double-digit lead would last for only 6 minutes before West Virginia Tech started to come back and cut the deficit to as little as 2 points. Point Park led just 45 to 42 at halftime, thanks in large part to sophomore guard Alexis Lyers, who came off the bench and scored all 7 of her points in the game in the first half on 7 of 10 shooting from the free throw line. Point Park opened the second half scoring with a 7 unanswered points run to stretch their lead to 52-42. West Virginia Tech would respond with a 19-7 run of their own to lead for the first time all game 61-59. It was a back-and-forth battle for the remainder of the game until Point Park was able to pull away late. It was a good first test of the year for the Pioneers, who expected to have an easier win against the West Virginia Tech Golden Bears. Sophomore center Sam Weir led Point Park with 26 points and 8 rebounds. Weir made 10 of her 18 shots from the field. Also leading the Pioneers were sophomores Carly Force and Kelly Johnson. Force recorded a double-double with 16 points and 12 rebounds, and Johnson recorded 16 points, 7 assists, and 6 steals in her Pioneers debut after transferring from Clarion University. Another good sign for the Pioneers was the return of junior forward Janaea McFadder. After missing the 2013-2014 season with a preseason injury, McFadder had 7 points, including 2 3-pointers, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Point Park was just 3 of 16 from long range, but McFadder was 2 for 2. The Pioneers will next travel to Madonna, Michigan for their game on Friday night. Point Park defeated Madonna last season 77-74.
Now, Josh, what else can we expect on the road ahead for this Pioneers team?
Well, on the road ahead, we're going to have some non-conference matchups to get the Pioneers ready for conference play once we come to January. And in that time, we're going to really fine-tune some things, and we're going to start to see who this 2014-15 Pioneers basketball team is. They're going to come out and they're going to want to pressure the ball. They're going to want to create a lot of turnovers and really put some pressure on the opposing team. If you can frustrate the teams early, like Point Park did against West Virginia Tech on Saturday, you're going to see the Pioneers come out with a lot of wins. If you can jump out to that early lead, it builds confidence into the second half, and Point Park did that on Saturday. Their lead started to dwindle a little bit as the half came to a close, but that cushion that they built for themselves early was key. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see full court presses early in the games, and that's going to help them get some wins.
Now, how do you think Janaea McFadder looked in her return to the starting lineup after missing a season due to injury?
Yeah, she looked really good. She had 2 3-pointers, which was huge for the Pioneers. They only made 3 out of their 16 3-pointers in the game, which was a disappointment. And Janaea McFadder came out, and she was looking and she was hungry. She played really tight defense, and it's exciting to see her back here. If she can average a double-double like she did 2 years ago and put the pressure on defense as one of the team's top defenders, she's going to be a really key asset to getting this team back to the NAIA National Tournament.
Now, do you expect the team's defense to pick up? Because they did give up 82, and this has been a team historically under Coach Grenick that doesn't give up many points.
Yeah, and Grenick addressed that after the game. He said that it was really a tough match. West Virginia Tech came out firing, and Point Park really didn't expect them to come out as hot as they did. And so it was kind of a shock for them, but they got the win, and a win is all that matters. And they put the pressure on the defense, on West Virginia Tech's offense rather, early in the game. And as we go along, we're going to see Point Park start to pressure the ball, like I said earlier. And I don't think we're going to see these high-scoring games from opponents that we saw today. I think the defense is going to start to tighten up, and it was only the first game of the season, and we still have until January until conference play begins.
Thanks, Josh. The women's basketball team started their season on Saturday, and we have a couple members of the team in studio to talk about what their expectations are for the upcoming season.